Guitarists can either play notes or chords. They can either play lead guitar or rhythm guitar. A rhythm guitarist plays chords, and in this short introduction I'm going to teach you what chords are and how to read them. A chord is when two or more notes are played at the same time, and this grouping of notes creates a unique sound. When there is a group of 3 different notes, we call this a triad. That's this kind of chord, and F major is a good example of that. The 3 different notes we have in this chord are F, A, and C. D7th is an example of a quartet because in this chord there are 4 different notes: D, F sharp, A, and C. But chords can also be grouped according to the way they're played, at least on the guitar. We get 3 different groups. There are open chords. These are chords that use an open string. That means a string where I'm not pressing down. We also get bar chords. This is where one of our fingers is pressing down on more than one string at once, like an F major. You'll see that over here my first finger is pressing down on actually all 6 of my strings. And then we also get power chords. This is the 3rd group of chords. They're not open chords, they're not bar chords. In fact, they only have 2 different notes. In this example, I'm playing the G power chord, or G fifth. What this means is I'm playing G and the 5th above it, which in this case is D. That's a power chord. Sounds pretty powerful. And this chord is neither major nor minor. Now, when it comes to reading chords, I use chord diagrams to teach my students most of the time, although you can read chords in standard notation as well. The way I draw out my chord diagrams is from the perspective of the viewer. So as you are viewing me now, the head of my guitar is to your right, to my left. So as you count my frets, you're going to be counting 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, so on and so forth, up the fretboard like this. So you're counting from right to left. The nut of my guitar is over here, headstock this side, frets this side, and strings go from top to bottom, E, A, D, G, B, E. In a typical chord diagram, I would give circles to the right of the nut to indicate which strings should ring free. This is in the case of an open chord like D7. If there's an X in that circle, it means you shouldn't play that string at all. It will sound bad, and theoretically it just shouldn't be done. If there's one line through the circle, it means you may play the string. It won't sound terrible, but make sure you know what you're doing when you include this. For example, in D7th, if I strum all the strings, this is how it sounds. That E string just doesn't fit. If I strum from the A string down, avoiding the top string, that's how it sounds. So those notes resonate better together. They're in harmony nicely. If I strum from the D string down, that's how it sounds. It sounds a lot more unified because that's in its root position, where D is the lowest note. Now, when it comes to the way I indicate which fingers to put where, I indicate that with black dots with white numbers in them. And the numbers in those dots indicate which fingers to use on your left hand. And the way I number the left hand fingers is we don't count the thumb. If that is used for whatever reason, that would be indicated with a capital letter T. But we number them from the index finger. So the index finger is our 1st finger, middle finger is 2nd, our ring finger is our 3rd finger, and the pinky is 4. So those numbers inside the black dots, they indicate which finger you should use. Then, of course, you just need to read which string is this on and which fret is this on. That will tell you exactly where to put your fingers. So let's just look at these 2 examples again, and I'll take you through them step by step. For D7th, let's first look at the open strings. So this diagram is telling us to avoid the top string completely, so that means we shouldn't strum that, and we should perhaps avoid the A string as well, which means we're only going to be strumming the bottom 4 strings. Now, when it comes to the placement of our fingers, it's telling us to use our first 3 fingers. There's 1, 2, and 3 over there. Let's go from top to bottom. It first tells us to place our 2nd finger, that would be our middle finger, on the 2nd fret of the G string. So let me do that. Take my 2nd finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the G string. The next finger it's telling us to put down is our 1st finger. So that's my index finger. I'm going to take that and put it on the 1st fret of my B string. It then tells me to put my third finger on the second fret of my high E string, and that's over there, and that's D7th. And then when I strum it, I'll strum it from the D string down. Let's look at one more example of a bar chord. Now in this example with F major, there are no open strings to play, so we don't have to worry about which strings we can or cannot play. We can strum all the strings, which makes this one nice and easy. The first thing you should notice though is that there is a thin line between two black dots with a number 1 in them. Obviously we've only got one first finger, and this is indicating that our first finger must bar the entire distance between those two dots, which in this case is all 6 strings. So I'm going to put my first finger down there and press down nice and hard so the sound will be clear. And then it's telling me to put my third finger, that's my ring finger, on the 3rd fret of the A string. It's telling me to put my 4th finger, or my pinky, underneath my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. And then it's telling me to put my 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. And this is F major. Again, remember, I can strum all the strings with this chord. So I hope that's been helpful in understanding what chords are on the guitar and how to read them. Look forward to more videos where I take you through some of the most basic chords that guitarists use. Thanks for watching, guys.